Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Railway Cottage. This is Karen, and I am tucked down here in my studio on a very, very cold and windy winter's day. Welcome. Thanks for popping in. I'm going to talk about hexagons today, all things hexagons. My little quilt that I'm making for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 8 needs quite a few hexagons, and I actually want them made out of old doily pieces. So this is my little box of goodies ready to go. And I'm just going to show you how to do one just in case you've never done one. So it's really very simple. There are a few basic things that you need. You do need a piece of paper or a card. EPP, if you've seen that written next to things and wondered what it was, it stands for English paper piecing, and this is an English quilting technique that goes back a very long way. And it's basically just using a piece of thick paper or thin card to help you get a really perfect shape. It is a hand sewing method, but it is very, very quick. So I have purchased these from Spotlight. I buy them when they're in the sale. I think you get a packet of, say, 200 for maybe $6. You can make your own. It's great to recycle things. I'm time poor, so I have purchased them. The other little tool that I have is this little acrylic template, which is really, really fluoro. So I'm sorry if that's reflecting. It comes in two pieces. This is the finished size of the hexagon. And you can see here it's got 1 1/4 inch. So that is the measurement of one side. So measurements in hexagons are done on the side, not the diameter. So this is the finished size, and then this is going to be the seam allowance. So these are very handy for if you are looking for a particular element and you want to place it on your fabric, you can tell where that element's going to be and then give yourself enough for a seam allowance. But I'm going to show you how I use them with the doily, where I'm really not that fussed on where they go. But then again, I'm going to use this little guy here. Now, if you've just got paper, you can just pop that on top. You can just give yourself a little bit of room like that to draw around. I kind of like it a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch, particularly if the fabric is a little bit heavier, just so it looks really neat. Did I say the word neat? Yes. Or alternatively, if you had this little guy, you could pop him on there and trace around. You can see they're pretty much the same. Super easy. We're going to cut him out. So I usually get a whole heap of these ready, and then they just live in this little tray, and it's my, nothing else to do activity. Quite often if I'm watching TV or if we're going somewhere and I'm not driving, or that sort of thing. So, sorry, put him back here. So I use this thread when I'm doing hexagons because it's really strong. It's a Goodman 100% cotton quilting thread, and it's a little bit wiry. It's really good. It's really easy to use. It's thick. It holds its shape. It puts that hexagon exactly where you want it. I use a thimble, and then I have a couple of paper clips. These are the key. This is the key. So we take a little piece of prepared doily, excuse me while my wash machine's going in the background, and then place it so that you have even edges around. Now we're going to fold over the top and the bottom. And these doilies have a few lumps and bumps, so you have to kind of work around them. So that's step one. So we've got our doily on the other side and top and bottom, so it can't move. I do it this way because if I just go to the left and start sewing, invariably I push it down and I don't have enough seam allowance at the bottom to turn over. Then here, we're literally going to fold this right to the edge. Let me just see if I can zoom in a little bit. There you go. Oops, where am I? There. So we're going to go right to the edge here and then fold. Now I just catch that, and this is where we are going to put our next paper clip. Right there, like that. So we're taking our thread. Where's my thread? For this I've used quite a fine needle. I think I'm using these, the quilt basting needles from Spotlight. They have a smaller eye which suits this thread perfectly. And the eye is actually small enough to hold the thread, if you know what I mean. It's not sliding out all the time, but they're thin too. because obviously you're working at the edge of a raw piece of fabric. So we're going to start by I have a little knot on the end of my thread. We're just going to capture this corner. So we're going to do a double stitch, 1, 2. So all I've done is basically stitched over that little mitered corner, except I've caught myself. Done. And so that's tight, it's not going anywhere. Take off this paper clip, move on to the next one. And while you're getting used to it, you would probably pop that paper clip back on here, like that, to hold it for you. Now you just take the thread straight across, and then we're going to do the same double whip stitch here. And depending on your fabric, you might find you need to do it closer to the corner or further away. So that's that one. So now I'm here, my corner's got a bit wonky, so I'm going to pop him off, fold and fold, and then I'm just going to hold that with my thumb, and I'm going to capture both parts. And again, a double stitch, 1, 2. I do a double stitch so that when I release tension, my previous corner doesn't burst itself open. Okay, same thing, straight across. I'm going to go up 1, hold that there, and 2. Back to this side, again, fold all the way along to the end and find the corner. So there's a few holes in this, just the doily that I'm using, so I just have to go a little bit further back from the edge. So I have pen all over my hand, it's not dirt. So now we're back to the top one, it's time to take that one off. And again, we're going to fold along that piece of paper or card, the template, fold over and catch it. There it is, 1. See how it's gone a little bit funny there? I'm just going to tuck that under with my needle and go again. Then I'm just going to tie off. 3 will do. So I'm going to cut that off, cut my other end off, and there is a hexagon with 2 sticky up bits of thread. Hang on. There is a hexagon. How gorgeous is he? So when you're making these, leave the papers in until you stitch them together. So when you stitch them together, it's a matter of deciding where you'd like them, putting those 2 ends together and whip stitching, and I'll do that in another little technical video. Once you've got a few of these joined together, so let's pretend they're sewn together. Let me just find some that are sewn. They can make the most fabulous shapes. I love a good tessellating shape. Let's pretend I've got these done as well. You would leave all your papers in until you get to the point where they're not at the edge. See, I could remove the paper on this one now because it's not at the edge. I would continue to sew on without removing papers. In fact, you kind of just leave the papers in as long as you can. Oh, that's my garage door. And then you can make whatever shape you want. So that, my friends, is how you make a very quick and easy hexagon, and it's a great way to use up little scraps. So thanks for popping in. I'll see you again.